Capricorn. Welcome to your end of April 2018 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here, just shuffling these cards. This month I'm using a new deck. It's called, this particular reading. I have several readings a month, but in this reading I'm using the Druid Craft deck, which is a little bit different in terms of size, being a little bit bigger, and also, well, it's got that theme of, you know, what we'd expect from kind of that Renaissance fair theme. So you see how you like it. And some of these cards is cool because I've not drawn them before, since this is so new, and they don't always use the same lingo in the major arcana, and even for some of the other cards, so I will translate when that happens. Whoa, you got a lot of swords, baby. Interesting. Okay. I'm just kind of gathering these up, putting them to the side. Let's look at this. I think that some of these cards kind of reflect the upheaval that has been happening with Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn. So you've been dealing with that particular transit for 10 years now in your sign, Pluto. This is a once-in-a-lifetime transit. Not everyone will have this, I don't think, because, you know, if Pluto takes 15 years to go through a sign, it may not come around to your sign. Well, Capricorns, you have been chosen by Pluto. And so should you accept this assignment, and, well, everyone is going to, it's going to make you over, like it or not. Going to give you a whole new, maybe a whole new persona. Maybe a whole new outlook. But it is a very healing energy. It's just that it's very intense. And now you have Saturn in your sign too. So let's look at what's going on here. The heart of the matter is the Ten of Swords. This is a card that, I think this is the first time I got this card for this particular deck. And you've probably been familiar with this card from the Rider-Waite deck. And it's a card of betrayal. Getting stabbed in the back. Obviously, it's metaphorically speaking. Now, if you notice, this guy's got a helmet there. So it's like they're talking about the battle. And maybe, you know, like, maybe it could even be like, you could say friendly fire, where somebody stabs you in the back that you trusted. A betrayal isn't a betrayal if it's coming from an enemy. So it would have to be somebody that you trusted. And whatever, you know, I always think about this idea of betrayal. I'm wondering if I've ever been betrayed in my life. I don't know that I have been, you know, in any significant way. And that's interesting, because I think that some people, they have that as part of their energetic makeup, where it seems like it keeps happening to them, where they, you know, like you get a person who they're always getting cheated on, or they are always putting their faith in someone who turns out to be just using them for their money or something like that. And I say this because I think it's really important to look at this issue, if you are dealing with this Capricorn in some way, and really look at it. Don't just look at the facts involved, but look at it in a very methodical way. And always with the purpose of bringing it back to yourself. And not to blame yourself, but to really feel like you can move forward, not feeling like a victim, but feeling more like you understand how whatever happened in the most self-empowering way possible. And there may have been something that happened that you had a hand in, like you trusted the wrong person. Maybe there was something inside of you that said, don't trust this person, and you did so anyway because you were trying to get your needs met. You know, whatever. It's it is what it is, right? Now here's an example of a card that is labeled differently. Rebirth is the Judgment card. And this is in the challenge position. Isn't this a beautiful, interesting drawing? And it's that horn. You know, I think it's supposed to be Gabriel's horn. I don't know. But in any case, I think, too, this is very significant because you see, sometimes they have like these nude figures, and this time it's a child. So if we look at what nudity means like completely open, right? No artifice, no facade. And then the fact it's a child means that there's kind of a rebirth. I mean, that's what rebirth would mean. Now, I like the fact that this Judgment card is speaking of rebirth because that is one of the key words of that card. But usually when we think of judgment, it is that sense of punitive, you know, kind of behavior where it's like you're getting yours. Or karma, the idea of what does karma mean? Does karma mean punishment? And is cause and effect punishment? And these things. And unfortunately, I think that there's a grain of truth in all of that, but people have distorted it because of their own lack of understanding of what it all means in terms of like what punishment means, what cause and effect mean, and seeing it in very crude terms like, you know, cause and effect mean punishment, karma means punishment. If you just look at it very unemotionally, cause and effect, like gravity, there are certain laws, and when you go against the laws, certain things happen. If you do a certain thing, it will create a certain reaction. If you gravitate towards certain types of people, you will likely have certain eventual outcomes. For Capricorn, an example would be if you're out on a date and you're dealing with somebody who's talking a lot about money, chances are that person is going to be very interested in your money, how much money you're bringing to the table. And that could lead to somebody who is very, who's kind of like a user, and they're not really looking at life from a tender perspective, you know, wanting to connect emotionally, wanting to have other things be important to them, other, you know, placing other things with importance. So it's very important to deal with this, see things as they really are. In this particular case, you feel like you can't get started over again because something is coming in between, that you can't get that purification. You're still in that, maybe you're in that stage of feeling like the victim, and it makes it hard for you to have a sense of being reborn. Now let's look here. The Nine of Cups is the cause or the past that leads to the present. This is actually a card of somebody who is very, feels very much like they're getting their wishes coming true. So this is a strange thing, because how could that create that sense of feeling like betrayed? Well, you know, that Nine of Cups might not be you. So an example I would give is you're with someone, and this is an example where one person, maybe they have an agreement with their partner that they're going to leave their job or their profession stay home with their children, and when the children get old enough, they're going to go back and pursue their profession. Or maybe they just are working so that their partner can, you know, finish their schooling and get that great job or something. And then when their partner gets the great job, they find out that the person's been cheating on them. So they've been putting their life on hold for somebody else, only to find out that that person has been betraying them. And the Nine of Cups might be that that person got their wishes fulfilled. So, because I can't see the Nine of Cups coexisting very logically with that Ten of Swords, if it was both about you. And so I have to think that you were not able to get your needs met because of something that somebody else, their achievement, highlighted the fact that they were actually, you know, maybe they were using you, maybe you were used. In the workplace, it's a very, I'm trying to think of, let me just give me 1 second, because the Nine of Cups is so positive. It's about, you know, you know, feeling emotionally satisfied. Now, I will say one thing, that the Nine of Cups can be an indulgent card. So, for instance, if you have any kind of a drinking problem that has impaired your vision and your sense of being able to see what's actually going on in your life, maybe you're sobering up and you realize now that all along you've been, maybe you were misled by somebody into thinking they were going to leave their partner, and you've sobered up and you realize that was all a lie or something along those lines. So I'll leave that to you individually to figure out what that means in your life. The spiritual lesson or even message is the Eight of Wands, and it's all about exciting new things coming at you, kind of like one after the other. So don't stay too long in that Ten of Swords energy. By the way, I want to say one more thing about the Ten of Swords. The number 10 relates to the end of a cycle. So it could be that you have kind of hit that proverbial rock bottom, and now you're kind of like picking up the pieces of that situation. Oh, and one more thing too. All of this may have been very fast. So that's why I'm saying, even with the Eight of Wands, this could be talking about how that you got into this mess. So if you had like a whirlwind courtship, Capricorn, which seems so unlike a typical Capricorn, but who knows? Maybe you have a moon in Aries, and you just, and maybe you have Mars in Capricorn, you tend to, it, you know, forms a hard angle and you do things impulsively. I don't know. But whatever is going on, maybe you got married too quickly, and the Nine of Cups was like somebody wined and dined you and gave you, maybe it was even like financial, you felt lured financially because the person was very generous materially. Nine of Cups can even, to me, sometimes represent that. And you ended up getting, you know, what do you call it, betrayed, but it was because you didn't really know the person very well. You got swept up in something. And the Eight of Wands would be saying that when things are happening like that, you have to take time out and really center yourself and don't get caught up in things. Again, this is like not, this would be atypical behavior for the typical Capricorn person who tends to be very methodical and cautious. But there are definitely outliers with every sign depending on your overall chart, okay? So, anyway, and if you're a Capricorn rising and you're watching this, and your sun sign could be anything, it could be an Aries. The advice is the Six of Swords, so this is about leaving drama behind you and you may even be relocating. I like the colors in this so much in the illustration. And it's really, you know, a card of choosing peace. And so if there's like any kind of litigation with the Judgment card in that challenging position, you may be, maybe you tried to sue your partner or whatever they call it when you're suing for divorce, or you tried to do something specific that was rebuffed, and now you're, you know, maybe it was like trying to get more punitive damages, and that didn't work out. You may be tempted just to try again, and maybe this card is saying that you should just like get away from that situation and you know, move on with your life. And but also it's about peace. It's all about peace. It's not about trying to take somebody to the cleaners and, you know, reliving the drama, because it's really like you being vengeful, you being angry that you were like betrayed or something like that. What's coming in is represented by the Nine of Swords. This is a card of emotional grief. Again, when I say this is coming in, this would mean if you don't, if you just continue to go down that line, that you run the risk of just hurting yourself. And the outcome is the Moon card. This could definitely be something related to the astrological transit, because you do have a full moon in your sign in June, like on June 28th to be exact, Capricorn, and that might be the time when you just like close a chapter in your life and you just decide you're done with that era. And then maybe that rebirth that you're seeking will finally come to you. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. This could also bring out, by the way, anytime that you have a full moon, it might even bring out, the Moon card can bring out secrets that maybe you've been told, half-truths or downright lies, and that could indicate a time when you find that out. And by doing that, that does free you, because you realize that you were reacting to something that that person was misleading you into believing. Okay, Capricorn, I hope that some of this resonated with you. And if you'd like a personal reading, because this is a general reading, and like, for instance, my love readings, I look at your natal chart and the other person's chart, if you have that information available, and see things from, you know, the specifics of your birth data. Just check my website for more details. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. I have provided a link below this video for that. Otherwise, take care. Bye.